If you've got a passion for pumpkin, you've got to get to Dunkin' and pick these up. Our new Pumpkin Cream Cold Brew. Smooth, bold cold brew topped with velvety pumpkin cream cold foam. And our delicious pumpkin spice signature latte. Rich espresso topped with whipped cream, caramel drizzle, and cinnamon sugar. And our perfectly pumpkin donuts, munchkins treats, pumpkin muffins, and more. That's how we pumpkin at Dunkin'. Pick your pumpkin at Dunkin', like our new Pumpkin Cream Cold Brew, pumpkin spice signature latte, and our perfectly pumpkin treats. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Exclusions apply.
Fall means autumnal breezes and vibrant earthy colors. It also means fall allergens, bacteria, and particles coming into your home. So swap out your old HVAC air filter with a Filtrete air filter from a retailer near you. Let's clear the air.
What is going on? You are watching, listening to Tags Live, the live version of Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Steve V. This is episode 309 alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell are you?
Hello, darling. This drink is strong.
Is it strong? Uh-oh. It's going to be a good show then.
Oh, my God. I'm afraid of what's going to happen, going to come out of my mouth.
Keep drinking, because the more you drink, the better we all look. Because we are a video podcast on the Get Vocal platform. And yeah, that's funny that you would say that.
Oh, my God. Okay.
We have got an entire episode for you of simply hot gay sex topics. One of our favorite things to do. We've had some special guests on. A couple announcements, though, before we get into the slew of topics. Speaking of drinking a lot, coming up, I tried this new vodka that is called Fourth and Pride. Just got this flyer, Fourth and Pride.
Love it.
Yeah, they are for the gay community.
That bottle is beautiful too. Oh my God.
And we're all about, us gays.
Aesthetics are everything, honey. Okay.
I tried this new vodka. It's really good. It's made out of corn and white grapes, and it's distilled 10 times. And they're going to come on our show. Well, let's not get crazy now. No proof. Gluten-free.
There we go.
Yeah, gay owned, and they give 5% back to the community. And they're going to be on our show November 3rd, I believe, to talk a little bit more about it. And more importantly, we are going to be able to get some swag out of it. I.e. vodka.
Love that part.
Yeah. A couple other things I wanted to, on my announcement list, we've got some new merchandise going, Tags Podcast merch. I just ordered some. It's really great. You can simply get it by going to TAGSPodcast.com and click on the link Tags Merch. And we've got everything from tanks, hoodies, tees, mugs, stickers, but on and on. And we've got those vibrant colors, purple, that electric blue, white on black, all really cool. Makes great Christmas presents in time. Check it out. And lastly, in announcement land, Adam's Toy Box has been with us for a minute as one of our sponsors. Adam's Toy Box, the adult toy company, and they just sent me a huge, I can't show you, but
we got new toys.
15 toys right beside me here. Fabulous. I'm going to, throughout the show, maybe I'll show you a few of them. But, I was thinking of different ways on how to do giveaways from them. And one of them is... I thought what we can do for the next 10 weeks or so is encourage people to write in if you've got sex conundrums or you want some sex advice or relationship advice. You know how we give it on our Tags Podcast show. If you DM us, if you DM us at Tags Podcast on Instagram or email us, you can give us your question. If you do, I will send you back. I'll ask you what you'd be into, and I'll send you some swag from adamstoybox.com. But you also can go to adamstoybox.com and get 20% off the entire lineup of toys over there by simply using our promo code TAGS at checkout and get 20% off. But yeah, some really good stuff. The first one I want to show you is these anal beads that are Dun, 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 dun.
I'm coming to your house.
It's Halloween season.
I got to get my.
You're gonna raid the toy
case.
box. Yeah, I've always wanted. There's a couple different anal beads in this that and I really like them because they have like a handle. Because the last thing you want is that to get lost and
get them stuck. Yeah,
in the dark hole. And
we might know way too much about this.
We know a little bit too much. So yeah. So anyways, write in with your sex conundrums or ask for advice on your relationships, and you will immediately, at least for the first ones that do, I will send you a toy. I'll ask for your address and send you off a personal Adam's Toy Box toy. All right. Well, we got to get into some hot gay sex topics. And the first one, could not help but talk about this amazing news that the San Francisco Eagle Bar becomes the city's first leather community landmark. I'm really excited about this because I'm from the Bay Area, California. I lived in San Francisco for 3 years, and San Francisco supervisors have granted the city landmark status to the infamous San Francisco Eagle, a leather bar founded in 1981. The gay bar becomes the first leather community site to be named a historical landmark in the city. And this local queer community has been advocating for years to save LGBTQ plus sites before they are shuttered and their historical values lost. And it's the second leather bar, Kodi, in the U.S. of the same name to become a local landmark. So the first, following 2020's designation of Atlanta's leather bar as a historical landmark. And they got their status. And even though it was founded, the Atlanta's Eagle, 6 years after the San Francisco location. Not that that means anything.
I mean, yeah.
City is by city. I mean, if we were to go by anything, you would think the New York Eagle would get it because
and foremost,
they've been around, I think, as early as 1980 for sure. They've just had different incarnations. But I think it's really cool. And you may ask, what does this really mean? According to San Francisco planning, the intent of landmark designation is really to protect, preserve, enhance, and encourage continued utilization, rehabilitation, and, where necessary, adaptive use of significant cultural resources. Beautiful. So essentially, it should help keep the Eagle in business regardless of who buys the lot. And I think what's really great about that is in an era, we were talking a little bit about this offline, in an era of development and just bars in general not sticking around. You never know when you go down a street if your favorite bar is going to still be in existence or not.
For so many different reasons.
Really good.
Yeah.
And for lastly, what I would say about this is for a leather kink bar, because that's what it really is, a kink bar, to get its iconic historical landmark status is so cool. We're finally coming into an era of the mainstream, and when a city acknowledges you as a historical landmark, or I'll remind you, we reported on another story recently during Fashion Week here in New York City, when Coach, the iconic fashion brand, put the Eagle New York on the runway with the bags, and they came up with the original Eagle NYC retro logo and put it on a leather purse and had a model storming down the runway. That's when you know that sexuality is merging into the actual, I think that's really worth noting. We're a sexual podcast, so I think these are bars that are celebrating sexuality.
Yeah, for sure. I think that what we're doing is only helping to further that point along. And I think it's so amazing that a part of our gay culture is being memorialized, basically. And that from now on, I know I can...
Well, maybe not memorialized. Is that like death?
No.
It's a memorialization.
I think it means that it's going to be there forever. Peace. That's what I meant. Yeah. No, I think it just means it's going to be there forever. That's what I meant. I don't know if memorialize is the right word. We'll see. I'll ask you to edit it out maybe later.
No. I like that you said that. No. I mean, yeah.
Because COVID, we know that it's taken so many of our gay bars out of
Right.
the world. They're no longer in existence. So I know that forever and ever I'll be able to go to San Francisco and go, which I've never been to. And I'll be able to go to the Eagle. I know we got to go.
Field trip it. Maybe we'll do an episode over in San Francisco.
I would love to.
Stomping ground. Maybe we'll contact the San Francisco Eagle and do it.
And we can
there.
do it from there. Oh, bitch. We yeah. I think we got a plan. I think we're gonna do this.
And I think we reported on this already. Sorry, and then I'll get your point. That the New York Eagle as well. So we've got San Francisco now, iconic status. We've got Atlanta, which is in the middle of the country-ish, sort of. Yes. Okay. Then we've got us on the East Coast, the New York Eagle, which maybe doesn't have its historical landmark status yet. I say yet. But they are just signed a 10-year lease, insider word. Cool. And on top of that, they bought the business next door, which was a hardware store, and are about to open up a new dance floor downstairs. They are not going anywhere anytime soon. So I love our kink bars in our plotted points that are really making a concerted effort that we're not going anywhere. Let the kink thrive on.
Yes, yes. That was my point. That's all I was going to say is we need to work on the New York Eagle not going anywhere and getting that.
Okay. Well, then status. Good. I'm glad I put that
We're on the same page, bitch.
We are on the same page. All right. Well, this next story, I was so shocked we had to talk about it. There's a museum that started an OnlyFans account after its TikTok was banned for posting news. So essentially, I'll just get you a consortium of museums, a blend of a consortium. Thank you. A consortium of museums in Vienna have created an OnlyFans account to post nude artworks as part of a new wave of prudishness on social media platforms. So essentially, the so-called Vienna Laid Bare initiative was launched by Vienna's tourism board late last week, along with its own. I know, along with their OnlyFans account. As of writing, subscribers can receive, for people that are into it, they can get a complimentary Vienna city card or a ticket to one of the museums. And a spokesperson for the tourism board told Motherboard that the museums launched the initiative after the city's museums had their social media accounts suspended for uploading nude artwork. And in July, the TikTok account of the city's Albertina Museum was banned for posting photographs from Japanese artist Nobuyoshi Araki depicting obscure breasts. TikTok did not immediately reply to an email regarding the ban. And essentially, Vienna and its art institutions are among the casualties of this new wave of prudishness, with nude statues and famous artworks blacklisted under social media guidelines, and repeat offenders even finding their accounts temporarily suspended. Wow. The Vienna Tourism Board ultimately wrote in a press release, "That's why we decided to put the capital's world-famous explicit artworks on OnlyFans." Hey. And I love it. And we're talking about 100-year-old pieces of artwork in some cases, because it was a consortium, that's a hard word for me to say, meaning a bunch of museums that came together, essentially, is the point. And all of them were taken down in various ways and capacities. And I think that this is old artwork, sketches oftentimes. And I love that, I think it all has to do with the algorithms that we keep hearing so much about. And I was watching a piece on Lisa Ling's This Is Life.
I love her.
Lisa Ling, love her. Yeah. And she was talking to one of the originator marketing guys on Facebook, and he was saying the algorithms are all designed, at least on Facebook, for you, Kodi, to have only the types of content that you would be interested in. Obviously, if you look at something that you want to purchase, you're going to see more of that. If you look up certain types of liberal news that you're going to get flooded with that. And then somebody else in the middle of the country that might be more conservative, they're going to get a totally separate type of news feed that is to them. And he said it's designed to divide us even more.
Oh.
And ultimately, his main message was it's because there's more money to be had and made by doing this sort of. They could change the algorithms, but I have to say though, because our first Instagram talk about gay sex was taken down. And it all has to do with money. Everything always to me comes down with money, because it's the banks, we've been told, I've been heard that those are the ones that put the pressure on social media companies to ultimately want to take down these things. But it's a whole, you could be like a podcast and talk about sex on there, and then you're going to be targeted a lot more than somebody else that's Joe Schmo, that's maybe showing actually his jockstrap. And so I think, it's just so frustrating. But I like that they used another platform, OnlyFans, to not only monetize and get their work out there.
Yeah, well, it just kind of reminds me of what happened with OnlyFans just a little bit when you were speaking just like a couple months ago, when they were wanting to take down all their sexual content on OnlyFans.
Yeah, right.
So it's reminded me of that, basically. And I think it's really sad and it's disheartening that we are starting to see censorship and the puritanical views and ethics just so pervasively permeating the social arena, basically. And I think it's really sad. I want the algorithm to send me all the nudes. Okay, algorithm, send me your nudes, please.
Yes.
Because I think it's horrible that the censorship is so crazy right now. And I think that we need to come back to a point where the male okay, so that's for me, the male figure, basically. Yeah. But the human body.
Yes.
Is seen as a beautiful thing again. So I just think
absolutely
it's too sad.
And it's interesting because if you notice behind my shoulder here, I've got Tom of Finland, which is numbered. It's I found it online, and I forget what number we're at, but it's like a good number. You know how in artwork you want the lower number from the originals.
I don't
know. It's just really hot if you're listening to the show that I keep on the my right side of my shoulder if you're watching this. And it's a Tom of Finland, typical charcoal, where one guy is sitting back and he's got the hugest cock ever, and another beautiful man with beautiful ass is taking the cock, and you see it like fully. It's really an amazing piece. I'm so glad I got it. And then it's numbered, because that means a lot in the artwork, the lower the number is. And that, I'll have to say, Tom of Finland is one of those artists that has been debated before whether or not it's considered art or homoerotica. And I think it's both. It's all of it. But it's definitely, if you look at the sketching and the shadowing and the realism that is in his, yes, it's erotic art, but it's art. And I will not take down this picture ever unless my mom. so like I had a straight couple of mine that I've known for a long time. And I worked with a friend of mine for years, and they were staying, and they're totally cool and liberal. But I was like, should I take that down? I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Good.
No, I kept it up. And because it's art, right?
Exactly.
And I noticed that when both of them were looking, because I've got a lot of pictures on my mantle, I've got a lot of like stimuli around of things you could be looking at. They glossed over that, not like anything, but said, oh, you're here with your family. And then I have a picture when I was shot with Obama at one point, which is really cool, and glossed over that. And that's totally fine. That you don't have to comment on it. But I will take it down if my mother comes, because I told you on a recent show that I barely came out to her. So I don't know that she needs to see a big dick and an ass, even if it is considered art.
Yes,
she might not get its artistic value. I do care what she. Yeah, I do care what she thinks. So
I have a beautiful.
She's the only one.
I have a beautiful charcoal too, and it's in my room, so it's kind of hidden away. When you were here, you didn't see it. I should have showed it to you.
Oh, what?
Next time you come over
to see it?
Well, because you weren't in my room, but next time you're over, I'll show it to you. But basically, it's kind of like it's a charcoal I won in an auction long time ago, and he has his pants down and his penis is out.
Who's the artist? Do you know the artist?
I have no idea. It was something that I got when I was living in Virginia. Yeah, so we'll figure it out. But also in my notes, it's funny that you bring up how legitimate art. I had in my notes that I was going to say legitimate art because of the museum and because the museum legitimizes in my mind. Yeah.
By the way, Tom of Finland was just in a museum exhibit here in New York City. So,
but I took it out because I felt that all art is legitimate, no matter what. So
you know what? You're right.
It's so funny that So I agree with you 100%.
And just to wrap this up, kudos to this museum. I will put this on TAGSPodcast.com if you want to check it out, because I think it's really cool that they're on OnlyFans. They're like, hey, we're going to use whatever means we can.
Whatever we got to do.
Yeah. And I like that if you sign up for their OnlyFans account, and I bet it's not that much. They just probably put it up there because it's a bunch of the museums, that you will get like a pass to one of their museums, or you'll get, I forget what else you'll get, but you'll get some perks if you join it.
Well, let's go to Vienna.
Let's go to Vienna. Okay.
We're just planning all kinds of trips.
San Francisco. Now we're off to Vienna. I love it. All right. Well, we had to report on this next story because I don't know if you guys know from government, Madison Cawthorn, who's in the U.S. Representatives, urges moms to raise their sons to be hyper-masculine monsters. And I'm not even joking on that quote. Representative Madison Cawthorn, Republican of North Carolina, has gone viral for a speech he recently made in which he complained about the demasculinization of young men in the modern world. He writes, "Our culture today is trying to completely demasculate all young men," he told his audience. In a video clip which went viral, has him saying, "You can look at the testosterone levels in young men today, and they are lower than throughout all of history." I like how he knows the testosterone levels. But okay. Then he goes on to say,
remind me of Lindsey Graham.
Oh, honey, that queen. Somebody we don't want on our team. There's a lot of reasons. He goes on to say, there's a lot of reasons for this that we can get into later. But my friends, they're trying to demasculate the young men in our country because they don't want people who are going to stand up. And lastly, he says, which is the repulsive, all you moms here, the ones who I said are the most vicious in our movement, if you are raising a young man, please raise them to be a monster, he said, to wild applause and cheers. I mean, can you even with this?
I can't even. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's just so interesting. Well, what are your thoughts when you hear that?
It's men like this that give masculinity a bad name. I have so much to say. Okay, get ready.
Yeah. Okay, good. I want to hear it.
His insecurity is showing. He's a pathetic, basically, because it takes more strength in my eyes to show compassion and love for your common human being than it does to be a monster like he's advocating for. But you have to consider the source, because did you read in the story where he visited Hitler's vacation spot?
Yes. Yeah.
So consider the source.
And he's embroiled in his own
bucket list. Yes. So he's a monster in his own right. So he's just sowing seeds of friction and dissent, and he's just here to be a horrible person on this earth, and I'm not here for it. I think he's pathetic, basically.
I absolutely agree, and I do think, though, we are embroiled right now in this time where I think he's responding. He said he didn't want to list the things that he's really referencing, but it has to do of the cultural swing. He's a huge Trump supporter, and he's a part of that great divide that we're seeing in our country that really wants to divide us over unifying us. And essentially all the examples that we report on all the time of like Lil Nas X and RuPaul's Drag Race and Pose and all these people that are coming out in droves as not just gay, but bisexual, non-binary, on transgender, that we are in my mind, we're seeing this pivotal shift happening right before our eyes. That in history books, it's going to be a great time to look at the history of this. If you are a student later on in life, this is probably going to be a really amazing, because historical times, the most interesting times to study in my mind, have always been the ones where there's a turning point going on. Maybe not a war, but it is sort of a civil war in many ways. You can't look at the news, at least our gay news. I scour the gay news to come up with so many of our topics, and I'll see so many positive stories about coming out, or like I just said, the eagle getting branded a historical monument, without having 5 stories about hate crimes, people dying, people being sent to the hospital, bloodbath because of hate crimes. So they're like on par. For as many positive stories as I come across, I see a slew. If we wanted to report on some of these, it would be the entire show, and we'd have to do part 2.
Yeah,
couldn't do it. No, I mean, and so I really just think he's speaking because it's this turning point that he cannot handle. And true it's just so interesting, because I think our culture, our gay community, has struggled with trying to be masculine, and then we're at a turning point now where it's acceptable to be a true man, to embrace both sides of ourselves, to your feminine and your masculine side, and neither one of them, they should be in a balance and harmony, really.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that it kind of just occurred to me, we're in a gay renaissance almost, if that makes kind of sense to you. And the backlash is just in reference to the fact that there's so many more people are becoming more and more comfortable with gay people, and
absolutely, it's crazy. I know. What did
Teddy says, to quote a friend, "Are straight people okay?"
Interesting.
It's calling to question, are straight people okay now? So
right. I don't know what the answer to that is, but some of them clearly aren't, like Madison Cawthorn. Absolutely. All right. Well, we have to talk about this next story. And Kodi, you are a big superhero fan.
I am.
I know. Yeah. And I couldn't help but want to talk about this story because we reported on it recently that Superman has come out as bisexual.
Yes.
But we should explain it a little bit more, because when we originally explained it, I didn't know that there's different, like in the comic book series, we're talking about the comic book series, that obviously Superman has been around for years and years and years. And I didn't realize there's different iterations of these superheroes that end up playing the part of Superman. And the current one is really the son of Superman, correct? Yes, explain that for us, so then we can tell the story of what's going on.
So what happens is they have to age up these characters, basically, and they have to show growth and progress within the characters. And so what happens is they want to keep the trademark for, say, Robin.
Right.
And so they have multiple Robins that go into the Robin uniform, because Robin has to grow up. He can't stay 12 forever, basically.
Right. You know what's interesting, though, about the whole thing about it? Maybe not in Robin, but we're supposed to believe that these superheroes they've been given these superpowers, right?
Okay.
So just how, like you were telling me, there's been different Robins, and there was a Robin that had red hair, and Batman made him dye his hair black.
Yeah. So the way it goes in the original and the old stories, the second Robin, Jason Todd, he was a redhead. And so that the common people out there wouldn't be able to know that there was a new Robin, Batman had him dye his hair black so that he would resemble Dick Grayson.
So he was really a ginger. And if we were to like pull his pants down, would we see a ginger trail?
You know what?
You can dye the top. Oh, okay. We're not talking about pedophilia.
So as he got older, when he turned 18, we could pull it down and then we could see. We would probably see. So.
But I think my whole point, I love how we're getting really dissecting this, because for all of us that don't follow superheroes that much, but how do they then get these superpowers? Are they anointed in some ceremony that gives them the powers that Robin used to have, or that Superman? I mean, you know what I mean? I thought
so. Robin doesn't have any powers. He's just he's an acrobat. He's just a boy wonder. He's a boy wonder.
He can spread those legs, and you might see a ginger trail if you're lucky when he's 18.
When he's 18.
I hope he's 18 by now.
Yeah, he's definitely 18. He's the Red Hood now.
Oh, well, then all right. I want to know.
20-something now. So you can go look right now and get it.
Boy choice, Silas says.
Yes, we're ready. So, yeah. So Superman's son, John Kent.
Okay.
So he's Superboy now. So...
This makes sense. He's the son.
He was the son, so he was born with the powers. So the previous Superboy, and this is getting real. I didn't even write any notes for this because I know all this off the top of my head.
This is so fun because Kodi writes a lot of notes for the show, and I love it. And so I love how I'm catching him off guard, but it's your favorite topic.
And I love it. So you were like, you get a whole hour for this. And I was like, sure, I can do it.
We haven't even gotten to our story yet that we really want to talk about. So, but I'm loving this breakdown. I mean, I'm really, as I get older, I'm getting into horror films, superheroes, and it's so funny.
I have a million comic books over here you can read.
Yeah, I'm going to come to go to the library and check out some. You're the library. Yeah.
Yes. It's open, honey. The library is okay.
Will the pages stick together though?
Probably because I was a horny child when I got most of these comic books, and these rippling muscles really did it for me.
Oh yeah, forget the Sears catalog. Yeah.
But okay, so the second Superboy, because Clark Kent was the original Superboy. Okay. Makes sense, right? Before he became Superman, he was Superboy.
Got it.
So the second Superboy is actually a clone of Clark Kent.
Oh.
Yes. And his name is Connor Kent. Yes. They cloned him and Lex Luthor together.
Oh, look how clever they are. So this is how they get past it all is they cloning.
Yeah. They cloned. And now the third Superboy, trying to think if there were any Superboys in between, and I don't think that there were, but the third Superboy is Superman's son, and basically all the superpowers were passed down genetically. Now, if you want to talk about Wonder Woman, that's a whole nother story.
That's a different show. We got to get to what we were talking about. So the current Superman, who's originally Superboy,
yes,
Kodi did such a great job on. He's getting a lot of flack because he's coming out as bisexual, and which I think is really great. And of all people, you guys know George Takei, right? Of Star Trek fame.
I do.
Good old George Takei. George Takei is firing back at Dean Cain. Do you guys know who Dean Cain is?
Not anymore.
He played, well, we don't want to know. Dean Cain played Superman, I think in the 90s on a Fox TV show, correct?
Who? Yeah, he was in Superman and Lois.
So George Takei is firing.
Lois and Clark. Thank you, Teddy.
Right. Okay. Yes. Lois and Clark. Thank you. And all right. So there's a lot. So essentially, Dean Cain has come out and has expressed on Fox News, of all things, He said, they said it's a bold new direction, like a bold new direction for coming out as, this is Dean Cain speaking, right?
Yes.
About the current Superman coming out as bisexual. Okay, quote. They said it's a bold new direction. I say they're bandwagoning, he said. Robin just came out as bi. Who's really shocked about that one? Ooh, that was a dig, right? The new Captain America is gay. My daughter in the CW series Supergirl, where I played the father, was gay. So I don't think it's a bold or brave or some crazy new direction. If they had done this 20 years ago, perhaps that would be bold or brave. Okay. And first of all, I'm not sure that they really even said that it was bold or brave. I think they were just announcing that he's bi. Yeah,
exactly.
So Fox News probably, like Fox News loves to do, which is where he was on when he said these comments, probably ignited this. Like, what do you think about? Do you think that this is a really bold? They probably said this, which prompted him to say that. I'm not sure that anybody said it as bold or anything. But you gotta love George Takei, because in a tweet, Takei says, so Dean Cain apparently is upset that the new Superboy in the comics is bi. I used to be upset that Dean Cain was straight, but he has definitely cured me of that. Exactly. And I love that comment, because to me, Dean Cain goes in that category of washed up, tired ass stars like Antonio Sabato Jr. and Scott Baio. Throw Dean Cain in the same tired ass, like, really, what are you doing and why are you talking anymore? Because you have, but I know you love this host, Amber Ruffin.
I do. I love her.
She's got a late night. So she's got this late night show, which is really season 2, doing great. And she's got a segment called Bitch Please. And in it,
which I'm saying for a while now.
So she's told the same story. This week it was announced that in an upcoming DC comic, the new Superman will come out as bi, and people are losing their shit, she said. So I love this next crowd. Are you afraid of him and Lex Luthor are gonna trick you in some? Are you afraid him and Lex Luthor are gonna trick you into a threesome? You wish, she says. You wish. Look how handsome these men are. You could never, she continued, before really going in on the haters.
That's right.
And she went on to say, if a comic book character being bisexual ruined your childhood was trash to begin with, Ruffin said. And I have to agree with her that, oh my God, calm down. I mean,
exactly.
And I don't know that anybody said it was really that breakthrough, but it is big. That sounds like baiting Dean Cain, and or back to our masculine topic on your old ideals of what was considered masculine, holding an old stale piece of toast ideal of what is masculine. As Superman, to me, it's masculine to come out as bi. Yeah. There's plenty of sports figures coming out as bi in professional wrestling, NFL football, basketball. I mean, and that to me is the epitome of showing your true masculine side and saying, hey, I'm showing a side of myself and I want to share with you. And you're a role model and a leader. And that to me is true masculinity and leader qualities.
I agree. Being authentic to yourself is masculine.
Drop the mic.
You better get it, Steve.
You better get it.
Amber Ruffin went on to say that representation matters. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And
yes, of course.
I completely agree with her. If I would have seen a gay superhero back in the day when I was growing up in the 90s, I was
the 80s, you were the 90s.
I would have felt more powerful and more solidified in the world. It does, exactly.
And not hate yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, that's my words.
No, I agree with you. I completely agree with you, because it just goes to show you that there are other people out there like you. You wouldn't feel so alone in the world, basically, is what it boils down to. And I'm a little history lesson on comic.
Yeah.
Until they didn't allow any gay people to be even in. You weren't canonically allowed to be gay in a comic book until 1989.
Right. Fucking Dean Cain. Like, what are you talking about? As if. Yeah.
They're all just afraid of the changing of the guard and basically the status quo. They want to keep the status quo and they want to keep their privilege, and they're worried about it being threatened in their livelihood. So, but they haven't worked for how many years, so they should be worried about that instead.
He should be praising, because he is part of the legacy in some way, shape, or form on the TV. He should be praising the iterations. I mean, if we were to really dissect his version of Superman, it wasn't like it followed the comic book that much. It was a comedy at best, and it was called Lois. What was it called? Lois and Clark?
Lois first.
But I'm saying his wasn't like this great representation. It was very of the 90s and of the time frame, and it was more of a comedy than anything else than I think a true representation. I just remember seeing like clips of it, and I could tell it seemed silly to me. Yeah. Like if you were a really big superhero fan, I don't know that you would have liked this, because it was very that 90s Ally McBeal kind of quick talking. I don't know that it was really like, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, it was what it was, and it was a phenomenon.
It was what it was.
I just think, hey, you had your moment when you played the character. I think embrace it and don't be talking down on just that he's coming out the son, not even the original one.
You're not even trying to change who Superman was. The same backlash that they got when they made Black Superman. And
there was a Black Superman.
There's a Black Superman, and he's the president of the United States.
Can we go to your TED Talk on superheroes? And I feel like it'll be an 8-part series, but I would be taking notes the whole time.
Okay.
I'm for it.
I was always way more into Wonder Woman and Storm.
I love Wonder Woman, and I want that history lesson on it too. So you're gonna have to give me. All right,
come over. We get things. I can show you my artwork.
Yes,
it's all about. You can check stuff out of.
Hey, Tags listeners, craving for more tags? Hungry like I am? Well, now you can unlock exclusive Tags content. I'm talking about our weekly Tags After Show and our twice monthly Dark and Dirty Show. Now you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. You'll get a notice each week when new episodes are dropped exclusively for you. So what are you getting from this exclusive content? Well, you're getting a weekly Tags After Show where the conversation continues with hot gay sex topics in a more relaxed, behind-the-scenes, more intimate format. Our twice monthly Dark and Dirty Show will often feature special guests like my co-hosts, but gets a little darker and a little dirtier as we reveal our sexcapades to your exclusive ears. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now to unlock exclusive Tags content and know that you'll be supporting Tags Podcast to continue delivering the quality of Tags Podcast you've come to love. You can unlock this exclusive content by going to TAGSPodcast.com and click on the link Tags After Show. Thanks for being a supporter, and continue having hot gay sex.
Yes, please. All right. Well, speaking of people that we look up to, I couldn't help but talk about Instinct Magazine's latest person that they hold up as hot as fuck, right? So there's a Canadian expat who's currently living in Australia, and they write on Instinct Magazine that there is no doubt that this week's Hottie of the Week, as they're calling it, is hot. I mean, very hot, they write. He was given the seal of approval by just about everyone the writer showed the picture to. But as we age and live and learn life lessons, we realize being considered hot is just not enough. And this is where I like the story. It only gets you through the door. And I would totally agree with this. you need to have something to back it up. Canadian-born Rob G, as he goes by, has so much more to him than looks. It should be illegal, according to Instinct magazine. Rob, which I kind of agree. Rob has been living in Australia for the past 10 years, and his upbeat, positive attitude is contagious. And when he says that he always lived a very healthy, active lifestyle and seems to always been in the line of work that is contributing to people's well-being, whether it be fitness, nutrition, mindset, or overall well-being, quote, I'm a strong believer in putting out good energy to the world and the people around you, but also surrounding yourself with positive people. You can tell he means it. And he's an entrepreneur. I think he's in his early 32. When I read the whole thing, here's one quote. What do you think is the most attractive part of yourself? Do you know what his answer was, Kodi?
I do.
Not his eyes or his beautiful hairy chest or that big. They didn't show that. But he said the most.
How do you know all about that? Was it in the article?
Well, hey, in my fantasy world mind, it's thick and big. But when answered, what do you think is the most attractive part of yourself? He says, my energy. Yes. And I think that's really awesome.
That was beautiful.
My energy. I think that's really, and it goes to masculinity, all the topics that we're talking about. Ultimately, when I'm looking at somebody, I could think they're the hottest person when I see them out in bars. But if they're a douchebag or I get that first big, I'm turned away. But it's so nice when you meet somebody that's attractive and they're backing it up with this great energy. And I think about like my personal trainers that I've had the few times, the one I'm thinking of that's been on this show, Alex. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's ever had a bad day. He's definitely had bad days, but he's never been sour or any of that. Even on and he's had some bad things happen to him. There's always a level of, I don't know. It's never
positivity.
It's always positive, and nice. I think that's what I'm looking for in a person. And personal trainers tend to have that. Yeah. What are your thoughts? I mean, when you're looking for you're in a relationship. But...
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I try to exemplify that out in the world, and we're all human. Bad days, so
sure,
but I think that it's great that he is such a wonderful and beautiful person. And you know what really kind of stood out to me was that he's not cookie cutter what you would think that they would pick as the hot AF type person. And he's a trainer, but he's not like outrageously jacked. I feel like I could have his body. I feel like that's something that I could aspire to. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that it's so wonderful that he's so relatable and that he's so kind. I think that after all the stories that we just did about all these negative and horrible people, it's so refreshing to have to have someone who's
he should be the next superhero. Yeah.
That's right. Oh my God, that's so profound. I love that.
I think he would be somebody that I would look up to as a modern day realistic superhero.
Exactly.
And his superpower is his positive nature and attitude that he emanates. And in his case, and as anyone knows, but I know, like, from my trainer, who to me, my personal trainer that we're friends now, I don't train with him, but he comes over periodically and he kicks down the door and he's always in garb and just lots of layers. He looks like he loves superheroes himself. He went to Comic-Con. And to me, he's kind of like the closest thing to a superhero that is in my life right now. I look at when I go on his Instagram, I'm going to get inspired. Like I said, he's always a positive attitude, even on a bad day. And he gives me that inspiration. And that's what I think superheroes should do. They should empower and save the day, if you will. Even from a bad day that's looming on the horizon. Yeah.
Yeah. So That's what I try to do out there in the world, and I know you try to do that, and that's what I try to.
We do. We're all superheroes. We all have the capability and power to be superheroes in our own life. And on that note, let's do some thirst trapping and find some.
Is it that time?
It's that time. Yes. Our favorite segment called Thirst Trap. This comes out on Thursday. So Thursday, Thirst Trap for you. And I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com. But essentially, it's our job by StraightUpGayPorn.com's weekly. Thank you, Straight Up Gay Porn, because they put together 16, 18, and this week it looks like it's 20. How many? I'm trying to scroll real quickly. 20 gay porn stars and who took the best photo or video of the week. And it's our job to descriptively describe on this audio version of the podcast to you. And Kodi, let's go first. And we want you guys to weigh in as well.
Hey, so goes to Felix Fox. And last week it was Cain Fox, so I might have a fox fetish.
I think you do.
So he's in what appears to be a public restroom. And I know that I have a restroom fetish.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's turned around and his ass is in the mirror. He's taking a picture. And the bathroom is all orange. So
I'm looking at it right now.
Sexy,
it's a
right?
Kardashian butt. A J-Lo butt.
And his ass
right
up, and his back is
oiled up
or it's sweaty. I want to imagine that it's sweaty.
Well, I see a brown oil container on the right.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Someone spritzed him up on the back, I think, which is fine. He should have taken that bottle away. That's fine. No, that's not. I'm a lube too, ready to go.
In my head, it
looks like you need to spritz the ass a little bit down there so you can slide in. I'm just saying.
But his back is beautiful, and it's so ripply and muscly, and it's just my wet dream. So he's my pick for this week.
Well, I love that pick. That's a really good one. I love the orange background. It's It's actually really cool. I just want to take that brown spritz bottle out, and then I love it completely. But that's just me being hypercritical.
I think I've said this before. You have to take the things. You have to make sure your background is clear.
But honestly, it doesn't matter. You could crop this and get that out of it. I would crop it just in the mirror, and you're good to go. Mine happens to be right on top of your picture.
On top.
On top. And it's
I was going to pick him too.
Nico. Now, the reason I'm picking Nico, aside from there seems to be something, I don't know, thrown on the floor on the carpet, but I don't know. Besides that, Nico is taking a selfie, and unlike our co-hosts Jeremy, Ross Lopez, and Lincoln, where they say not to look in the phone, you're supposed to look into the camera, not in the camera. He is. I don't care. Like I said before, first of all, he's got like an 8-pack, and gorgeous. And like I said, I like to do a little research and go, because they do a really good job on Straight Up Gay Porn. Mm-hmm. And if you click on the link below them, it takes you to the Twitter. He is so beautiful. And I think right now, because I'm in a workout phase, that he's giving me inspiration on body. And he's just got that beard that is sculpted and perfectly coiffed and lined up on all the right places. And I think I really picked him because he's so beautiful, but because he's giving me inspiration for my own workouts. And I'm looking at it like that. What is he giving you inspiration
for? Oh, your workout.
Well, a lot of things, but for my own workouts. And there's always should be somebody that you're looking up to, whether or not you achieve it, but just to give you kind of inspiration. And he's definitely giving me it in that picture and then on his following pictures. But we want you guys to weigh in as well. Did anybody else?
Couple. Yes, we have a couple already.
Okay,
Silence
go ahead.
In the building, so he.
Oh yes.
He put in it. I'm only gonna
read a couple.
So Teddy says Tommy 9.5.
Yes, I know. And 9.5 key part of the name there.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Is it the 9 inches? I'm not going to even go there. All right, go ahead. I can't go that high unless I'm sucking.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. I got talent, but not in the vocal arena.
Nice. So Silas also, he says Dallas, Preston, and Rhino. And Rhino I saw Rhino. I'm like, yes.
It was a rhinoceros of
an ass. Oh, he's right there. Oh. Okay.
All right. Okay, background community over there.
I know, right? Your hero?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
She's staying with me now.
I love it. Well, thanks for playing, everybody. This has been so much fun. Thank you, Kodi Maurice Doggette. Thanks for educating us on the superheroes. I feel like we need to do like a different part series on this. I want to hear more about Wonder Woman.
You told me about that before. You said you should have your own comic book. And I was like a little bit wary about it before, but now I'm thinking it might be a good thing.
I can produce it. Let's talk.
And we can
me. Hey, I know a little bit. I know a little something about producing some of these. Let's talk.
Okay. All right.
This could be good. Let's do it before somebody else does it.
Well, there's a couple out there right now, honestly.
Yeah. Well, okay.
But I'm not going to say it on. Listen to mine. Okay.
Thank you. More coming up on that. All right. You can follow Kodi on Instagram. He's a life coach. Follow him at KMD Coaching or his personal account, Mr. Maurice. But always, like I said, follow us at TAGSPodcast on Instagram. And if you DM us or email us right now for the next several weeks, I've got a slew of Adam Toy Box toys sitting before me. I've got all kinds of things, cock rings, masturbators, on and on. And if you DM us and if you ask for sex or relationship advice, by doing that, I will write you back and we'll answer your question, first of all, but I will also then send you a personal toy from adamstoybox.com. And you can get 20% off by going to adamstoybox.com by using the promo code TAGS at checkout. In the meantime, thanks so much for joining us. All back with new shows next week, including our extra Tags after show this week for extra content, as well as our Dark and Dirty, a brand new show this week as well. So consider joining the subscription-based service. In the meantime, guys, thanks for watching. It's been so much fun.
Always.
Continue having hot gay sex.
Yes.
Super fun.